like it's almost unavoidable that something won't go wrong with the sound. But either way, the material of this class is really good. Please be patient with the sound and just turn things up.
This has been coming up so frequently this week, in fact, is low back pain. So we're going to go over what I call, or Maria and I call the big three. The big three are the calves, the quads, and the butts. And we're going to get more detail than we normally do on the big three. But the big three are your calves and your quads and your butts. And it's associated with forward propulsion and movement. But if it gets, they're such strong muscles, if they get locked into stabilization, it could create a lot of problems. And it can create the problem on one side. So you could have a calf muscle that's tight on one side, a quad muscle that's not working, or a butt muscle that's over stabilizing. And we have an imbalance through that singular kinematic chain, or we could have it side to side. So both calves could be tight, or you could have one tight quad and one tight butt. And that imbalance creates low back pain because it causes a torsion of the pelvis. So we're going to go after the big three. Once again, that's your calf, your quad, and your butt. And we're going to open it up and see what it does to back pain and how just by working on these three muscle groups, it can attenuate a lot of things that we think are low back pain or back going out or an unstable low back or morning pain that we experience getting out of bed. So we're going to start out in stance though. We're going to start out with our feet parallel. So this is the key. Is the feet parallel going in the same direction, hips width apart. So here's your ASIS. This is your pubic symphysis. Midway in between is your actual hips width apart. So it's a lot more narrow than you might think. Then you're going to push down with your big toe and the corresponding metatarsal head, the outer four toes and the corresponding metatarsal head. But we're going to really focus on that pinky toe. And then finally, you're going to drop down that heel. You're going to put 1/3 the weight through the balls of your feet, 1/3 the weight through your toes, and 1/3 the weight through your heels. That means 66% of the weight is forward in your foot, so you're more towards your forefoot than you are your hind foot. Then you're going to slightly bend your knees, turn out your knees, fire up your calves, your quads, lift tall through your abdomen, and we're going to fire our first chakra, that's your pelvic floor, second chakra, that's your lower abs, third chakra, that's your upper abs, as you draw your shoulder blades down and back and get your head over the top of your pelvic floor. Going around here. Not wonky. Fix this. There. Calves are nice and tight. Suck in that tummy. We're going to just activate your abdomen. Keep your butt relaxed. The butt is a mover. We don't want it to be a stabilizer. It's not pretty when it stabilizes. And then we're going to tighten your abs and then release your abs. Tighten your abs, release your abs. Keep your head over the top of your pelvic floor. Activate and release. Activate, release. Abs are nice and tight. I want you to also feel the relationship between the calves, the quad, and the butt, and how the calves are involved in standing, but it's also involved in locomotion, how your quads keep your legs straight and prevent you from collapsing, and your butt's ready to move. It's not stabilizing. We don't like seeing people clench and pucker their butts. We like butts that are relaxed or dynamic when they're moving. Keep your abs engaged, suck in that tummy. We're going to do a hip circle. Try not to move your head. Move only from your hips. Your head stays stable. Your smiles are up. Keep those knees turned out as you do this hip circle. Yes. Keep that pelvic floor on. Keep your abs on. You're moving from second chakra, which is down here. Should not feel any pressure in your low back. And then go in the opposite direction. This is just warming up the back a little bit before we get started. Your smiles are up. Keep sucking in that tummy. I know this is easy, so that's why I want you to really work on details. Don't let your head move all over the place. Keep those knees turned out. Keep your abs engaged. Okay, good. Now, you're going to put the block under the ball of your left foot as we start opening up the first muscle group, the calf. Drop that heel down. Once again, your feet are parallel. You're turning your knees down, out. Try to get the pinky toe down on both feet. Keep the weight forward. Abs are nice and tight. Chest is up. So you're going to first learn how to mount over the top of the hips. So we're going to lengthen the hip flexors. So you're slightly pushing your hips forward. Your abs are engaged. You're sucking in your tummy. Shoulder blades are down and back. And this is kind of where we start. Keep the abs engaged. And now you're going to pump your hips forward. You'd be surprised how many people cannot open up their hip flexors, and that creates a lot of problems. So the only thing that can counter your hip flexors are your butt, and now suddenly your butt is stabilizing. What should be happening is now your butt is moving your hips forward, your abs are moving your hips forward, and it's causing a pulsation in the butt muscle as you lengthen the calf muscle. And as we've talked about many times before, if the calf gets tight, it causes your shoulders to round forward, causes your head to run forward, and it causes your abs to shut off. So to counter this, we want you to be in really good posture. Abs are nice and tight, suck in that tummy, and then hip circle. These are your calf muscles. They're very powerful. The Achilles tendon is actually a spring, even though they say it's non-contractile and non-flexible. It is very flexible. It's just a very powerful spring. And it's involved in running and walking. Suck in that tummy. Oh, let's see Wolfie's head pop in real quickly. And now go in the opposite direction. I really want you to try to move from your hips, not so much from your head and neck. Shoulders are still like you have two little champagne glasses on each one of your shoulders that you don't want to spill. Two little glasses of water, one in your heart, so the heart's not moving you. One on the top of your head just for fun. Okay, now we're going to toe in. So we're just getting a different portion of your calf muscle, but you're also noticing it gets what's called your tensor fasciae lata. Keep your abs engaged, you're sucking your tummy. We're going to start out pumping your hips forward. Your feet are 90 degrees to each other. But the strange thing is, even though we're toeing in, we're going to turn out our knees. Straighten your legs, pump those hips forward. Abs are nice and tight, sucking your tummy. So see how I'm angled off about 45 degrees from my original position? That's what you want to have happen. There you go. Perfect. Keep breathing. Okay, now you're going to hinge forward, and we're going to stretch. You just hang out here. Keep your knees turned out. Just hang. Hang. Suck in that tummy. It's your abs that are pulling you deeper into the stretch. It's not the bounce. It's not what you're turning off. And we don't want to feel any pressure into any joints. You shouldn't feel your ankles, knees, or low back. If you do, you need to tighten something up, like your calves, your quads, your butt, your abs. Suck in that tummy just a little longer. And then good. From here, you're going to come up. Arms go over the top of your head. You may be lightheaded. If you are, just go back down. Pump your hips forward, suck in your tummy. Yay for this shirt that's not staying down. Sorry you have to see that. Keep breathing. Come on. Your feet are still parallel. Your heel is still down. Abs are nice and tight. Turn out your knees. The feet are parallel. Pump your hips forward. You're just continuing that stretch. And then here we go. We're going to step forward. Now your hips go forward. Step back, hips go back. Step forward, hips go forward. Step back, hips go back. Abs are nice and tight. Suck in that tummy. Feel what it feels like to keep your abs engaged. No pressure in your low back. If you feel any pressure in your low back, it means your abs have shut off because we're working muscles and not joints. Your low back, it's a whole bunch of joints. Good. Okay, feet are going to stay side by side. As we continue to stretch the same calf, you're going to bend and straighten your right leg. Both knees are going straight forward. Abs are nice and tight, especially on this low position. Keep your abs engaged. That's where we'll want to shut off. We're doing our boom chicka boom. Suck in your tummy. Keep breathing. It's okay if your foot's going slightly numb because this is a lot of stretch on the calf and it's working tightnesses that we have in our calf muscle that compress the nerve. Okay, stay here as you bend and straighten now your left leg. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking in your tongue. Keep your right leg straight. This is opening up a muscle called your soleus. Soleus is the second heart in the human body because it pumps blood from the lower half of the body back to the heart, which circulates through your whole system, your whole body. Okay, last thing we're going to do on this calf muscle is keeping your spine straight. You're going to hinge from your hips. We're going to tip forward, and then we're going to come back up. Abs are nice and tight, and I hope I remember everything we did so we can do it on the other side. Make sure those knees are turned out, your abs are engaged, first, second, third chakra is on. You are not flexing your spine. This is a very powerful muscle, and it can do a substitution move into your low back instead of lengthening. You need the calf to lengthen instead. Breathing. One more. And good. You're going to come off this block. It's going to feel super strange because you have one open calf and one tight calf. We're going to switch sides. Your heel goes down. Your feet are parallel. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking your tummy. We're going to mount over our hips. So just push those hips forward. Abs are engaged. First, second, third chakra on. Keep those abs engaged. You're lengthening those hip flexors like we did on the other side as you lengthen through your calf. Because we're working on that posture. And you can totally see how if this calf gets tight, our shoulders run around, our head goes forward, and our belly turns off. We're going to counter that. Up those hips forward. Abs are nice and tight. Feel what it feels like to move the hips forward, mainly from your abs. You're going to have a slight pulsation from your butt because your butt's a mover. So when there's movement in the body, your butt should be involved and your abs should stabilize. Keep breathing. Jaws relaxed. Make sure those knees are turned out still. Pelvic floor is on. Shoulder blades are down and back. Do we do hip circles? I don't know if we did hip circles. I don't think so. I don't think so. I heard it says no. Okay, now we're going to toe in. We're going 90 degrees, feet to feet. Abs are nice and tight. You should be angled off about 45 degrees. You're pushing your hips forward. Suck in that tummy. Pump those hips forward. You may feel this in your tensor fascia lata, and that's actually good because you can see how muscles work together in different positions. Keep sucking in that tummy, and you're breathing. Okay, and then here we go. We're gonna pull ourselves forward, back is straight, abs are nice and tight. You're sucking in the tummy, you're turning your knees out, and your feet stay toed in. You're pulling yourself deeper into the stretch by engaging your abs, not by letting your back go. Like a sit up towards the ground. You should feel no pressure in any joints, nothing in your ankles, nothing in your knees, nothing in your low back, because you're stabilizing with the muscles. Because we're opening up the big three. Ass, quads, and butt. We'll have that memorized before the end of the class. Suck in that tummy. Mario's join us. A little longer as we now come up. Up and your arms go over the top of your head. That'd be awesome if you didn't get lightheaded. But if you do, just go back forward into your forward fold until your blood pressure regulates. You can pump your hips forward. You can move side to side. You're just lengthening this calf muscle. Abs are engaged. Lower your arms back down as we come back to feet parallel. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking in your tummy. We're going to pump those hips forward again. You're going to lengthen that calf and make sure it stays lengthened. Shoulders are back, chest is up, head's over top of the body. Notice if your head wanted to go anterior and your shoulders wanted to roll forward. Suck in that tummy. And now we're going to do our functional stretch as you step forward, step back, hips back. Step forward, step back, hips back. See what that feels like to actually get your hips forward, keeping your abs engaged. Because the abs will want to turn off and you'll load up your low back. We don't want that to happen. We want the calf to actually lengthen, abs stay engaged. Keep your eyes up, head up. Just because this is easy and it's repetitive, I want you to get more into focusing in on it. Stretchy. Forgot him. Go put your foot back onto the block. I just remembered. We got to do our boom chicka boom move. You're lowering your hip, you're raising it. Abs are nice and tight, sucking your tummy. How could I forget? This is my favorite. This is opening up your gastrocnemius. This is the longer of the two muscles that crosses your knee and ankle joint. You may even feel it in your glute medius, but especially at the bottom position here, keep your abs engaged. Sorry about that, but we're back on track. Okay, and then now we're going to bend and straighten your right leg. You may not go as far, but we need to open this up. This is your soleus. Keep your knees parallel. Keep your left leg straight. Keep your head over the top of your body. Because we're trying to correct posture. Go ahead and take your feet off the block. Feet are flat on the ground. Notice how much more forward you feel on your feet. Your abs are engaged. You should feel like an Academy Award. You should feel nice and tall. Shoulder blades are down and back. Abs are nice and tight. We want that hip circle going on again. See it, how different it feels with your calves open. Because every athletic motion is hidden in a hip circle. There's two things that we need to be a great athlete. One is hip motion. The other is posture, because posture immediately correlates to athletic balance. So, opposite direction, if you have posture and you have hip motion, boom, you're an athlete. You lose it, you're not. Okay, let's move the block aside as we continue to open up the calf muscle, but we're also going to open up the plantar fascia. We're going to roll out the foot. Unless you're Mario, who just did half her body. We're going to roll out our left foot. Keep your feet parallel. I cannot stress that enough. Keep the feet parallel. That's the whole point. Keep your quads on, your calves on. That's what stabilizes your knees. That's how come skiers can have an extended lever arm on their leg, come down a hill and make a bad crash and not get injured. Because, yes, and that's awful to see it when it turns off. Roll it out. So that means you can go side to side if you'd like, but your feet are going to remain parallel. We're still opening up the calf, but we're also getting the plantar fascia and the intrinsic muscles of the feet. Suck in that tummy. Don't let your abs shut off. Your knee doesn't bend yet. You're going to go on the gravitational portions of your feet. That's your footprint. And then the non-gravitational parts of your feet, that's where your foot doesn't touch the ground. That's your arch and in between your toes. Okay, drop your heel down. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking in your tummy. We're going to do it on an round surface now. You're gonna step forward, hips forward, step back, hips back. You're gonna notice how much easier it is on the ball than the block because it's a little bit lower. But you're gonna notice your ankle wants to turn out. Try to keep it stable. This is what protects the knee. Foot and ankle, hip from injury. Keep those feet parallel. Don't let that left foot turn out. Abs are engaged. Okay, you're gonna bend both knees now. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking in your tummy. You're trying to move from your hips. Your knees will move a little bit. You're rolling out your foot again. So something terrible happened last night. We invited a friend over for dinner and he couldn't come. But we ordered all sorts of Thai food. All sorts of Thai food. And so between Maria and me, primarily, Kai came in later, we finished it all off. Food for 4 and 2 people.
It was more like for 8.
Yeah, it really was. Okay, once again, drop your heel down. Abs are nice and tight. You kept your feet parallel. You're sucking your tummy. We're going to stay low. You're going to step forward, step back. This is you hiking. This is you stepping on a rock and your heel drops down. You don't have to fall on your face, which is a beautiful thing. Chest up. Head up. Feet parallel. This is all different functional ways of opening up your calf. And we're switching sides. We're going to start out with our feet parallel, legs locked out, knees turned out, abs nice and tight. Roll the foot out, footprint, and then arches and in between the toes. Keep the feet parallel. You can go side to side. That's absolutely okay. Oh, or you can do circles or figure eights. Just keep your abs engaged, quads on, calves on. That's that out of there. I don't know if this show still exists, but on ABC there used to be something called Wide World of Sports. There was a skier called the Agony of Defeat. And this is a guy who would go out to ski jump and just drop off the end and smash really hard against the ground. But I tried to get that video of it to put on this class video that we do. And it was really interesting how blurry it was, which made me think back to something else. Okay, staying low, drop your heel down, abs are nice and tight. Keep your feet parallel. You're gonna step forward, step back. No. Oh, yes, we did. Yes, oops, I'm all off. Okay, straight leg first, abs nice and tight. You're gonna step forward, step back, hips back. Thank you, Miss Maria. I got into my smart. Well, anyways, it brings me back to the thing that blurry image that I tried to put on our class video when I was a kid was so crisp and clear. And it reminds me of the fact that one time I was helping someone remodel their house. And when we opened up the wall, we found out the walls were insulated by newspaper. And one of the newspaper headlines that we found is when the Hindenburg blew up. And seeing the picture of it, now we're going to bend our knees, right? And we're going to roll out our foot from our hips, not so much from our knees, keeping our feet parallel. The image of the Hindenburg was like this blurry blob mess, and it was really well preserved paper. But it tells us that, you know, because I had clients of my father, or patients of my father, tell me how that was such a devastating headline to see, and it brought tears to their eyes. And I'm looking at this picture, and I can barely make out that it's a blimp exploding, or was it a dirigible exploding? But it's what our eyes are used to seeing. So someday kids will look at our smartphones and go, God, I don't understand the images on there. It's too blurry. Okay, drop your heel down. We're going to do it now correctly. Step forward, step back, hips back. Keep your feet parallel. Don't really want to turn out on this one. Keep your abs engaged. This is why people don't like crouching down in the dark. Because unless you practice it, it feels unstable. Keep the feet parallel, Meredith. There you go. Okay, good. We're just going to counter this stretch a little bit. You'll need your block. Oops. We're going to flip your toes over. We're going to just counter stretch. Abs are nice and tight. Don't let the work excessively go into your toes. It'll be in your toes. That's part of this. You're going to learn to put and distribute a little bit more weight into that right leg as you squat into it and come out of it. We just like creating counter stretch for everything that we do, and this is one of them. Abs. Okay, let's do side. It's not that exciting. But it will be if you're not used to using this part of your body in this position, and your toes get fixated. And this is why we have to practice stretching the toes. So when you bump into the coffee table, you don't break toes, and your toes just bend nicely. Abs on, knees parallel, knees over tops of the feet. Okay. So that was calves. So you should feel like your calves are very, very open. And just bring that on that. Now we're going to do quads. We're going to come on to our left knee on top of the block. So we're already starting the process of working on the quad muscle as we're lengthening out the rectus femoris on the left leg. We're opening this big long muscle, one of the quad muscles. But the rectus femoris is different because it crosses the hip joint and it crosses the knee joint, whereas the quads only cross the knee joint. Abs are nice and tight. This will be the important thing. Keep your abs engaged. That keeps your head over the top of your block. Sucking your tummy. We're going to start out with hip circles. Once again, every athletic motion comes from a hip circle. So if you're not making a hip circle, you're understanding why you're getting injured and you don't feel so athletic. Sucking that tummy, you're moving from your abs. It should feel very much like a belly dance. Smiles are up. Okay, good. Keep breathing. You're sucking in that tummy. Make sure you go to the left as much as you go to the right. Feel very sultry. And now we're going to stretch forward. Now we're going to start the opening of the hip flexor as well as the quad. So getting that rectus femoris again. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking your tummy. We're going to go just side to side. Try to keep this right knee over the top of your foot, even though your hips are going side to side. And that's how we start learning to protect the knees. Because the knees only do one thing really well, and that's flex and extend. Okay. Come back a little. Reach back with your right hand. Grab your left foot. Bring your heel to your butt. This should be easy. If it's hard, it will come with time. Push your hips back forward. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking your tummy. Really pull that heel to your butt as you go hips side to side once again. We're opening up all the divisions of the rectus femoris. Trust me, we're going to get more of this. Hey, you're going to turn around. We're going to add a twist to the right. Oh, this one's just a stretch. Push your hips forward. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking in your tummy. Pull that heel to your butt as you push your hips forward. Suck in that tummy. 5 more seconds. 2, 1. Okay, lower that leg back down. You're going to curl your right toes under. You're just going to come into a squat position like this. This is now opening up your quad muscles even deeper, especially around the knees. As we go into deep knee flexion, this is called short angle at the knee. And unless you can go into flexion, you can't really heal your knee. And that's why it's important to be able to open up this second group of the big 3, the quad muscles. Your toes are curled under. If you feel excessive pressure in your metatarsal heads, push that heel back I'll get it out of those metatarsal heads and give you a nice soleus stretch as well as a quad stretch. We're in a nice thinker position, so we're going to add a rotation to the right. Sucking in tummies, don't let it hang out. Close our short angle position. And we have to be able to do this. Okay, come back to center, abs are nice and tight. We're going to come back up again. And we're going to stretch forward one last time. Smiles are up. And good. We're going to switch sides. Just notice how different it feels on each side. We're going to line up, abs engaged, head over top of the block. We're going to start out with our exciting hip circles. If you keep your abs engaged, your head doesn't leave being over the top of the block. But if your abs shut off, you start wobbling. You don't want to see wobble. You want nice full range of motion off both legs, so you have the same athletic ability, opposite direction. Make sure you're pulling through your abs. This is why dancers and most athletes don't sit there and do sit-ups, because motion gets their abs to be in shape. Good. What do we do next? We stretch forward. Abs are nice and tight. You're smiling up. Chest is up. We're going to go side to side on this one. Try to keep this knee over the top of your foot and not let it move side to side. Notice if this side is tighter than the other. Good. You're going to reach back with your left hand, grab a hold of your right foot, pull that foot into your bootay. Abs are nice and tight, you're sucking your tummy. You're going to stretch forward, we're going to go side to side once again. You're getting different portions of that rectus femoris. Keep your abs engaged. Okay. You're going to reach back. Grab that foot, rotate a little deeper to the left, and then just push your hips forward. And no motion on this one. This one's a hard one to balance. Suck in that tummy. Keep breathing. Smiles are up. Pull that heel to your butt. Push your hips forward. Okay, go ahead and release that leg. Abs are nice and tight. Oh. We're not done here, but we're coming off the block.
No, we're going into the
Oh, yeah, we have to do thinker. I am so out of it. I'm sorry. Curl your toes under, abs are nice and tight. We're going to thinker pose. If you feel excessive pressure in your metatarsal heads, push that heel back. We're going to go into our thinker pose. You're going to suck in your tummy as you're thinking. If that means you have a plan of action, you turn off your abs, it means you know you're stuck. That stretch, get that twist, same as the other side. Just look at Maria's back and see how it's rotating and lengthening fibers off one half of her body and shortening the fibers on the other half. That's why we have to do that directions. It creates that symmetrical release and contraction. Okay, good. Do anything else? Okay, we're going to come into kneeling momentarily. We're going to continue the stretch of the quads as we just lean back. Your toes are pointed right now. Knees are together, abs are on. We're going to get ab connection as we lengthen the quads. Two positions. We're in this position. Abs are nice and tight, sucking in your tummy. We're doing sit-ups here, changing the shape of our abdomen. That has a lot of Thai food in it from last night. Okay. Now you're gonna push your hips slightly forward as you go into what will feel like camels, and thank God my shirt is showing my belly. Abs are nice and tight, suck in your tummy and release. At least I know I'm sucking in my tummy because my shirt is starting to cover my abs. Keep your hips forward. Okay, good. We're gonna give those toes a stretch once again. As you curl your toes under, you're gonna push your heels back. Heels back, so no pressure in your metatarsal heads or your knuckles of your toes. You're in this position, your head's nice and long. We're gonna do sit-ups. Suck in your tummy, suck in your tummy. Change the shape of your abdomen. Feel the lengthening of your quads. Good. We're gonna put your hips forward. Hips forward. Yay, my shirt again. Abs are nice and tight. Suck in your tummy. No pressure in your low back, no pressure in your knees. We're staying in the muscles. Stretching muscles, not joints. Good, 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 good. We're gonna come forward. Oh. We're gonna continue to stretch quad muscles. We're gonna grab your roller and we're gonna move to the very tip of the roller. I have to move the microphone so I don't hurt myself. You're sitting on the very tip of the roller. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking in your tummy. And we're just gonna lean back first as far as you can go. So like this is as far as I could go. Mario's probably gonna go way further than I can go. Keep your knees together. It's okay if your knees come off the ground. Just relax into it, but keep your abs engaged. Suck in your tummy, shoulder blades are down and back, abs are nice and tight. Just relax into it. Notice if one side's tighter than the other. Try to get the arch that's happening in your low back to go away as you flatten your spine against the ground by tightening your abs. But keep your knees together. I don't want to see your knees come apart. With palms of your hands, you can massage the soles of your feet. Just feel good. And when during the day can you do this? Especially if you're standing all day. Okay, we're gonna sit back up again. You can roll up the roller, you can, however you want to do it. You're sitting at the tip of the roller, you can undo your legs like Maria did and come back to a squat. As we now bend primarily our left leg. Your left leg is bent, your right knee is up, chest is up nice and tall. You're still at the tip of the roller. Abs are nice and tight. Once again, we're gonna lean back as far as it's comfortable or safe. So if it's only here, that's fine. If you can go all the way down, good for you. If you are only in this position, good for you. There is no good, better place. There are no superlatives on this one. Okay. Once again, you can massage out your left foot with your left hand. The abs are nice and tight. And if you feel like it, you can take your right ankle and put it across your left knee to drop your knee down lower. You want to put more pressure into the stretch. Lean over to the left. Oh, that is a nice stretch. Keep your abs engaged. You're trying to get your spine down on the roller. Keep those abs engaged. Suck it down, tummy. Smiles are up. This is lengthening the quad muscles. Here on the tight leg, we're going to roll out of this. You can pop your leg forward and sit back up, or you can switch your legs if you're flexible. I happen to not be that flexible. You're going to drop your right knee down. Left leg is bent. You're going to lean back once again. Only go down as far as it feels safe. So if it's only here, that's fine. You stop there. You can go further, go further. Oh. Whatever your furthest is, whether you're up a little bit more or completely down, get your abs engaged, your spine against the roller. And if you want to deepen that stretch, cross your left ankle over the top of your right knee to try to drop that knee down. And if you want to increase it even more, lean to the right. Keep your tummy engaged, spine against the roller. Keep your abs engaged. It's like putting your foot down and rolling over to your left side. Put both feet flat against the ground. You're laying on your roller momentarily. Feel what it feels like to balance out the stretching your quads. Feel the blood rush that is happening in your thighs. And then we're going to do an inner arm stretch. You're going to take the legs straight up in the air and then apart. Let's see if I get more in that room. Yep. There you go. Just the stretch. Open up your hips. Keep your abs engaged though. Hands are against the ground. Okay, and then you can put your feet together on the ground and your knees stay apart as you continue the stretch. Make sure the abs are engaged and your spine is flattening against the ground. The roller. And then go ahead and straighten out both legs. Suck that tummy, flatten out your spine. So we have opened up pretty thoroughly the quad muscles. Gently roll off your roller, onto the ground, see what the ground feels like underneath you. If you've done everything correctly, it should feel like you're laying in a groove. And it's not because you're laying in the groove, it's just your muscles are symmetrically turned back on again. We're gonna lay here for a second because it feels pretty darn good. Especially if you didn't get much sleep last night, because you ate too much Thai food and your stomach hurt. Okay, we're gonna sit back up again. Hooray, hooray.
No.
Because we are working the big three, the calves, the quads, and the butt. So we have to go to the third place, which is our butt muscles. So clear off everything that may occupy space. You're gonna take your roller and you're gonna put it behind your bootay. Hands are nice and tight. You can use a ball if you'd like. Either way, you're gonna go onto your right butt cheek as you cross your right ankle over your left knee. Abs are nice and tight. Put all the weight on there. Roll it out. We're rolling out the glute max and the piriformis complex. Muscles that in the animal kingdom, when we see excessively tight or clenched, is a sign of great stress. So we have to learn how to lengthen the butt muscles so it doesn't look like we're clenching our butt through life. Because it's a fear-based behavior. And since your body primarily speaks body language, it will detect that fear-based behavior and activate you and into fear and release things like adrenaline. Go ahead, grab your ankle, pull it in as deep as you can. Grab your knee, pull it in as deep as you can, and continue to roll.
Don't forget to smile.
Yes. Don't put the tension of your ass on your face.
Nothing can be hungry.
Yes. Cool. Okay, keeping your legs crossed. Hands go back behind you. As you lift up, roll your body. Closer to me. Okay. And you're going to drop down on your right elbow. You're going to take your right hand or left hand across your body, and you're going to roll out this glute medius. You can tip way forward to get your tensor fascial out if you'd like, but really get it. You're opening up your butt. Calves, quads, and butt. So like I talked about at the beginning, you could have a problem along the kinematic chain, so it could be all left-sided, or you could have a problem side to side. That's why we have to work on both sides symmetrically. And just curtain. Okay, we're going to go to the other side now. You're gonna cross your left ankle over your right knee. You're gonna go heavy on your left booty cheek. Abs are nice and tight. Lengthen everything out. Jaws relaxed. Abs are nice and tight. You're gonna grab that ankle, pull that ankle in deeper. Make sure your toes stay up when you do this. Abs are nice and tight. Then lean over more. Tuck your neck 20. Then you're gonna take your feet off the ground. Roll out that booty. You're gonna heavy on that butt cheek. Oh, dear. And lower down onto your left elbow. Take your right hand across your body. As you now roll out this hip. You can hip forward, get your sensor fasciata or your glute medius. Oh. Good. Come back to center now. You put your butt on the ground, legs are straight. We're gonna reassess well, it is a reassessment. You're gonna touch your toes and notice how much easier it is to touch your toes having opened your calves, your quads, and your butt. Keep your abs engaged, don't let the work go into your low back. See how far down your feet you can actually grab. Pull yourself forward using your abs, not by opening up your low back. You don't want to feel pressure in your low back. You want to feel work in your abdomen, lengthening through your hamstrings and your calves. In a moment, we're going to counter stretch. So you can take your ball, put your ball on the small of your back. Oh, yeah, it's on the chair next to you. You're gonna arch over the top of the ball. You're gonna rock from side to side. We're gonna open if you accidentally used your hip flexors. We're gonna open them up. Keep your rib cage closed. Toes point towards the ceiling. Keep your pelvic floor on. You can massage your abdomen. That's a really cool thing that we forget to do because a pendulous abdomen to us means unhealthy internal organs. So get your internal organs healthy by massaging them. And not putting so much Thai food in it in one sitting. Okay, go ahead and bend your knees. You're gonna lift your booty up. You're gonna put the ball underneath your sacrum. You're gonna cross your left ankle over your right knee. You're gonna keep your abs engaged. You're gonna pull your knee to your butt. This will open up that knee to your chest. It's gonna open up your glute max muscle, this butt on this side. And you can assist by grabbing with your hands. But keep your abs engaged so this work does not go into your low back. It stays in this glute max muscle. If you want, and you're flexible enough, you can reach with your other hand and grab your right foot as well. Or you can just stay holding on to your ankle and or knee and pull it to your chest. Don't let the work go into your low back. And then we're going to switch sides. You're crossing your right ankle over your left knee, you're pulling your knee to your chest. This is enough. If you could just pull your knee to your chest, that's a lot. If you want, you can grab that right foot as well as left foot. Don't let any work go into your low back. That's not the goal of this. It's to stretch open your right glute max muscle. Almost done. Good. Once again, straighten both legs against the ground. Rock from side to side. Keep your abs engaged. And your knees, lift up your butt. Take the ball away, lay flat back against the ground. Start assessing how your low back feels having opened up your calves, your quads, and your butt. And balancing them from side to side as well. This should diminish most of your back pain. We're going to add something that's not part of the big three, but it helps out a lot. You're going to bend your right knee. You're going to bump your hips over to the right. And you're going to bring your left knee to your right knee to the left as you go into a spinal rotation. Try to keep your spine long. In fact, try to stick out your butt. Keep your abs engaged. Draw your right shoulder to the ground. And then breathe. The asymmetrical load, not only on your back, like we saw earlier on Maria, but this is also an asymmetrical load on your internal organs. So as you're breathing, it's opening up or contracting different parts of your internal organs. Try to deepen it as you get your knee to the ground and your right shoulder to the ground. Keep your abs engaged. As we now switch sides, you're going to bend your left knee, bump your hips off to the left, straighten out that right leg. We're going into a spinal rotation to this side. Your goal is to try to keep your left shoulder down. Asymmetrical load. So try to elongate through your spine, stick out your butt, activate your abs, and breathe to work all your internal organs. Look at this. Flat back against the ground. See how things are feeling like. Do one last thing. It's not necessarily part of the big three, but you will need your ball. We're going to sit back up. You have to go over a landmark real quick where your rib cage comes together. There's a little thing called your xiphoid process. You're going to stay off your xiphoid process. You're going to be really careful of the costal chondral junction. This is where your ribs come together with the cartilage, and you're going to be especially careful of floating ribs. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll out the abdomen. We're going to go clockwise. We're going to go counterclockwise. We're going to go top to bottom. We're going to go side to side. We're just be careful of those floating ribs and that xiphoid process. And the way we're going to do this is in a push-up position with the ball underneath our belly. You can go on your knees. You can go on your elbows, but the goal is to keep the ball in motion. Remember, sharp pain is gas. Dull, achy pain is fecal material. Deep pouring pain is blood stagnation or adhesion. Your job is to break it up. There should be no pain. Just like there should be no pain on the bottom of your foot when you rolled out your foot, or no pain in your butt when you rolled out your butt. See what it's like to have your butt higher than your head, or your head higher than your butt. This is equal opportunity body parts exercise class. Notice if it's more tender in your lower abs, middle abs, lateral abs. The question is always, do I keep my abs tight or do I relax them? Try both. Nothing in the human body has a single function, so as you're rolling out your abdomen, you are working lymphatics and blood flow to your internal organs. You're going to notice what breathing feels like. We're going to work above the diaphragm in that xiphoid process as we now roll out our sternum, gently, gently over breast tissue, left and right. Just roll everything out. And we're going to do that in the same position. We're going to do that on all four, no pressure on the ball, to very little pressure on the ball, or you can drop a lot of pressure, whatever feels safe. You can be on your belly, you can put one arm behind you, or you can move the arm that you're rolling on side in motion, whatever, you know what I meant to say. Move the arm that the ball's on the side of as you're rolling it out. Break open, swim, raise the left arm. You can do what I'm doing and just put your hand behind your back, really get a deep pectoralis major stretch. Get some of your pec minor, which affects lymphatics. You're rolling over your lungs and your heart, so this is a great advantage to the body to experience this. Switch sides whenever you're ready. Go back and forth on the two halves of your body. Notice if one side's tighter and more painful than the other. You can do cervical rotation. That'll open up your thyroid and blood flow to your thyroid and your brain, which is a good thing. You can even roll out your throat to get directly to your thyroid. Be careful that you're not choking yourself out. Gentle, gentle over breast tissue, whether you're male or female. And finally, we're coming back into kneeling. You'll do a little breath work. You're gonna have your ball on top of your block. You're sit on top of that ball that's on top of the block. You're gonna work the pelvic floor. Ball's midway between your pubic bone and your tailbone. Probably the hardest part, we're gonna get the head over the top of the ball. That tells us we have proper alignment and support of all the chakras and all the diaphragms to line up correctly as you start breathing. Just by sitting on this ball, you're doing pelvic floor exercises because you have to keep your pelvic floor tight. Otherwise, this ball ends up in your mouth like a lozenge. So we have worked the big three, your calves, your quads, and your butt. Notice what your low back feels like. Notice what your neck feels like. What the connection to your abs are. As you walk through the day today, notice what your physical agility feels like. And if you're comfortable staying in this kneeling position, great. If you want to cross your legs, you can do that. That's great. But just close your eyes and feel what it feels like to float on top of your spine over the top of your pelvic floor. Like I said, the goal is to stay over the top of your pelvic floor, in between your pubic bone and your tailbone. Make sure you're not sitting on top of your tailbone or your pubic bone. We're stretching the sling that makes up the pelvic floor. And now try to separate your head from your tail. Trying to create as much distance from your head, from your butt. Keep your heart lifted, keep your rib cage closed as you breathe. Notice what it feels like to have your core beyond that straps you and keeps you in alignment and in balance. Notice what it feels like and how infrequently we have our head over the top of our pelvic floor. As you're in this position, find center as you make your way into meditation. Right now, there's so much going on that's so distracting that pulls you out of your center. And if you approach the world out of your center, the world, all of its distractions will rip you apart. But if you're in your center and you're grounded and you're in a state of meditation, you will see the things that you should attach to and connect to and react to, and you'll know exactly what to stay away from. Feels like to separate your head from your tail. That was the total reason for our evolutionary development from going on from all fours to upright, is to get the head upright, which allowed our brain to develop. Because the weight of the brain helped us stand up straight. So the most ideal brain functioning is with a straight spine over the top of the pelvic floor. Let all your sense organs go into viewing versus seeing. That's your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, and your heart. Amazing job. And on behalf of Maria and me, thank you for being here. Thank you for being willing to do the crazy things we ask you to do. Thank you for supporting us. I hope the work on the big three really helped you. We appreciate you. And namaste.
Hmm.